Hello dear students, welcome to the lecture series of Object Oriented Programming. In this lecture, we are going to see some of the basics of class design, that is interface and implementation. We will see why to separate the interface from the implementation of a class, and we will see how to separate that interface from the implementation of a class. At the end of this lecture, you will be able to differentiate interface and implementation of class. You will be able to understand why to separate interface and implementation of class, as well as you will be able to understand how to decouple client code from the implementation using the basic principles of object oriented programming such as abstraction and encapsulation. Let us see what is an interface. An interface describes the behavior or capabilities of a C++ class without committing to a particular implementation of that class. Interface is a public method of a class that control how it behaves. Interface just defines what an object can do, but it does not actually do it. Let me give you an example. If you have observed a remote control in your home, that remote control is an interface between you and the television set. You use that remote control to on the set, to off the television set, to increase the volume, to decrease the volume, to change the channel. But do you know the internal implementation of a remote control? No. So, we are not concerned about how that implementation is defined, how that implementation is done inside the class, but we just know that how to use it for our own use, for our own purpose, and that can be considered as an interface. An interface never implements the methods. A class can implement multiple interface. Now let us see what is the implementation. An implementation is the actual working of how class behaves. It is the actual code and testing of definition of that particular class or definition of the methods of that particular class. The implementation carries out the instructions defined in the interface. Let me give you the same example. The remote control, as it is working as an interface between you and the television set. But now how that remote control works internally is considered as an implementation of a remote control. How the internal working is implemented in the remote control is considered as a implementation. Now let me give you one more example. You may have observed the function definition and function declarations in your class. Then function declaration can be considered as a interface and function definition can be considered as a implementation of a class. If you have observed, you can keep the definition and the declaration separate. Now if you make the changes in the definition, user will not affect, as user is just calling the function and user may not know the internal implementation of that function or of that method. So it is very easy for the reusability purpose. Now let us see why to separate interface and implementation. As I told you, client should be able to use just a public interface and not care about the implementation. Let us take the remote control example. You are using it, but you are not aware, you don't care about how that internal working of remote control is, and it will be better sometimes that internal working should not be known to the user and just use should be known to the user. So we need to separate the interface and the implementation. Developer of a class can guarantee behavior of a class only if the internals are protected from the outside interference. Suppose if we make the changes in the internal working of the remote control, then the remote control may not work as per the expectation. That means user is interfering in the implementation and that will be risky sometimes, and so interface should be different from the implementation. It specifies the private access of internal, puts a wall around the internals, making a clear distinction between which code a class developers is responsible for and which code the client is not supposed to know or care about. It will be better always. Interface classes are agreed upon early in the design process and less likely to change than the content classes. As I told you, interfaces are just the declaration, or these are the public methods which are known to the users. And if you declare those methods early in the design process, it is beneficial as we are not actually implementing our code using those interfaces classes, and so those interface classes are not going to change regularly. But what about the content classes? Content classes are the classes who contains the actual implementation of your class, or who contains the actual implementation of your program. Now, number of times the functionalities or the requirements change, as we have discussed already. Then according to the requirements or according to the functionalities, the code, the implementation need to be changed, and so the concrete classes are they come later in the design so that we can make the changes according to the customer's requirement. And so the concrete classes are more known to the developer and interfaces are available for the user. And so we need to separate the interface from the implementation. Now let us see how to separate the client code from the implementation. There are two basic principles in the object-oriented programming which are helpful, which guarantees to separate the interface from the implementation. The first one is abstraction and the second one is encapsulation. Let us see what is abstraction. Abstraction displays only essential information and it hides other details or implementation from the user. Classes use the concept of data abstraction and hence they are known as abstract data types. Data abstraction enables the user to keep the responsibilities. It enables the developer to keep the responsibilities, that is interface, different from the implementation. Now let me give you the example of data abstraction. For example, you are driving a car. Now sometimes you need to apply a brake to stop the car. You just apply the brake, that is an abstraction. You don't know the internal implementation of how that brake applies and how the car stops. And it is not necessary that you should know that implementation, that how the car stops once the brake is applied. So that is, applying the brake can be considered as a data abstraction. Now let me give you the second example, that is login screen. Login screen can be considered as an interface that provides that provides the method to hide the contents of the screen. Now if you are not a authorized user, the contents are hidden, the implementation is hidden, and you are not known about what is inside. So that will be better as a unauthorized user for you. And let me elaborate that login screen more. Do you know how that login screen features are implemented at the back end? Then that backend can be considered as the implementation part, but user don't know how it is implemented and how that page is verifying the authenticate user and unauthorized user. So the login screen button or login can be considered as a abstracted feature for you, for the user, and backend, whatever the implementation, it is useful for the developer. The implementation is not important for you. There are some advantages of data abstraction, such as it helps the user to avoid writing the low level code. It increases the reusability, as the declare whatever the functions, whatever the methods we have declared, that methods we can use number of times in the same program, in the same system, or in another program also. And the implementation which is at the back end, which is not known to the user, can be changed at the developer side. It can change the internal implementation of a class independently without affecting the user. Data abstraction helps to increase the security of an application or program, as only important details are provided to the user, and user is not concerned about the internal implementation. So user will not disturb the implementation code, and it will not disturb the features of the system. Now let us see how that abstraction can be achieved. There are two ways through which the abstraction is achieved. One way is abstraction using the classes, and another one is abstraction in the header files. Now let us see what is abstraction through the classes. You know that class help us to group the data members and member functions using available access specifier. If the data members and member functions are public, then only those data members or member functions are available to the outside user. But if they are private, then they are protected from the internal implementation. So likewise, classes provides the data abstraction. A class can decide which data member will be visible outside the world and which is not. Now protected access specifier will be those data members or member functions which are protected. They can be accessed by the subclasses but may not be accessed by the other classes. Now let us see abstraction in the header files. Now if you observe the power method present in the math.h header file, whenever we need to calculate a power of a number, we simply call that function as pow, but which is present in the math.h. But do you know how that power is implemented at the back end? Yes, you don't know. So the abstraction is provided over here. That power interface is available for you to use, and the implementation is hidden from the user, that is from you. So likewise, abstraction can be achieved in the header files as well. Now let us see encapsulation. Encapsulation is the wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit. Let me call that unit as a class, as in class the data members and member functions are wrapped, and that is known as encapsulation. A data is not accessible to the outside world. Only those functions which are wrapped in the class can access it. As we know that only the functions which are associated with that class can access the data members, the encapsulation will be provided through the class. The functions which are the member functions of the class can provide the interface between the object's data and the program. The insulation of the data from the direct access by the program is called as a data hiding or information hiding. Please remember, abstraction is different than the or the concept of abstraction is little different than the data hiding or information hiding. Data hiding, information hiding or encapsulation means hiding the data from outside world, but abstraction means provide the interface only. Okay, the encapsulation guarantees the responsibilities by protecting the implementation from interference. Let us take the example of sales and finance department of a company. Now sales department may require some information from the finance department. Now sales department will have a database and finance department will have a database, but a person from the sales department cannot directly access the database which is related to the finance department of a company. The salesperson has to communicate with one person from the finance department, which will give access to that respective data to the sales department person. In the same way, class works. For example, class has some data members and member functions. Now some outside class want to access that data members. Now the encapsulation will be provided to that data members through the class. Then how to access the data which belongs to that class, which is encapsulated in that class? Then you can call the member function of that class which uses that particular data. Okay, so likewise the encapsulation, likewise the data will be accessed through that member function of the class only, and that is a data heading or information hiding. Abstraction is declaring that member function, declaring that member function. Okay, without knowing the implementation of the user. So I hope you are clear with data abstraction and encapsulation concept, which are the basic principles of object oriented programming. I will meet you in the next lecture. Take care. Thank you. Happy learning.